Now, be honest, are you currently paying off Christmas expenses that you made last year or maybe even the year before that? Or every time your child's birthday comes around, do you never have enough money to give them all that you would like to give them? There are lots more examples of things that come like clockwork every single year that you might not have enough money to cover in your account, but you technically should because they happen every single year. If that's the case, then let me introduce you to your new best friend, sinking funds. In this video, I am covering what are sinking funds, how to choose the best sinking funds for you, how much you should be putting in each of those sinking funds, and lastly, how to ensure that those sinking fund goals are met for when you need them. Now, if you're new to my channel, hi everyone, my name is Lizbet, and I make videos that help you plan for a better financial future while living your best life today. So if that is something that interests you, then don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you don't miss out on new weekly videos. Also, make sure that you stick around till the end of this video because I have a freebie for you that will definitely come in handy if you want to get started with sinking funds. All right, first things first. What are sinking funds? Think of a sinking fund as a mini goal for something that you know is going to happen, such as Christmas. Christmas comes every December, and so creating a sinking fund for Christmas is definitely something I've done for the past, I don't even know how many years. Because it's going to happen, you guys. So if it is somebody's birthday, an anniversary, for example, I have an Amazon Prime membership that comes out on a yearly basis. Something as simple as that, I can create a sinking fund so that when the time comes for me to pay that, I have the money ready to go and my budget doesn't have to be affected at all. So when it comes to what sinking funds you should have, my go-to is kind of having as many as you think necessary. If there is a transaction during the year that took you completely by surprise and you were not prepared financially for it, and it's gonna come again next year, then I highly suggest you make it into a sinking fund. So Christmas, obviously, I will always refer back to that because I feel like so many people just kind of put Christmas to the side, and then when it comes around, it's like this whole problem on trying to get money for it. And it's just, I think it's way more stress than we should have during that time. If there is a yearly fee on a service that you have, whether that's Amazon Prime, Hulu, Disney Plus, if you do the yearly subscription and it takes you by surprise. Now, if it's something that you can just budget in for that month, then don't worry about it, right? But if it's something significant, I would say like $500 and it's gonna completely like mess up your budget or you don't have enough disposable income to cover it, then turn it into a sinking fund. We also do birthdays, so even though one person's birthday is not going to completely ruin our budget, I like to have an ongoing amount, mainly because we tend to spend more money on our kids' birthday parties. And for example, my youngest will be 1 in June, so we're planning on, if possible with COVID, we will plan a bigger party because nobody's met her yet. So we would like to do something bigger than normal, just to have everyone over if possible. So for now, we're planning accordingly. We're saving up extra money for that. And here's the thing with over planning your sinking funds. It is way better to have more money set aside for sinking funds than to not have enough. Because if you have more and you end up not using it, well, then that money can either be used to pay off debt or to increase your emergency fund. So you're not losing when it comes to saving more, but you will lose essentially if you don't save enough and then you're stressing out when you actually need that money. But obviously it is completely up to you how many sinking funds you want to have. Now, if you are in need of more one-on-one help where someone can help you organize your finances, create a plan to tackle debt, to create more savings, create some goals or anything like that, I want to let you know that I do offer one-on-one money coaching, and you can find all that information in the description box below. Now, determining how much you need for each sinking fund comes down to how much did you previously spend. So if it's something like an Amazon Prime membership and you know it runs about, I believe it's like 130 or so, then you already know what that previous amount was. If it's something a little bit more variable like Christmas, compare your spending to last year's. Pull your statements and look at everything you spent on Christmas because it is not just presents. It is wrapping paper, it's possibly some family pictures and printing them out and mailing them out. I do like to include what exactly I'm going to use that money for in terms of what the sinking fund is. For example, on my Christmas tracker, I've specifically put on top that it was a $1,500 goal, and those $1,500 includes family photos, presents, decor, and then miscellaneous, as in wrapping paper and such. And that's to note that in case we don't get to the 1,500 or I choose later on to not do family photos, then I know that I can deduct that amount and still have enough money for the presents. Another one I have is a vacation sinking fund because we are planning a vacation in December. After that, I broke it down by $1,500 for airplane flights and then another $1,500 for spending because we will not need any hotel or car rental. So breaking it down that way means that if I end up purchasing those airplane tickets for less than $1,500, then I know that that difference can either be subtracted from my overall goal or added to the other $1,500 that I have set aside for spending. I think by breaking it down that way, you're able to kind of make adjustments if and when needed. And lastly, and I believe the most important thing that you need to make sure you do is actually reach those sinking fund goals so that you have the money there when you need it, right? So how exactly can you ensure that you reach your sinking fund goals in a timely manner? Well, you make checkpoints. You need to make sure you know when exactly you're gonna need that money by. So in my case, I like to have the money ready to go for Christmas at the beginning of November so that I can plan for Black Friday shopping and, just early sales that happen, which came in very handy in 2020 because sales just started way sooner than normal. So I like the fact that I had the money ready to go November 1st to get all my Christmas shopping done, or at least most of it done by the time December rolled around. So if that's the case, if you were to start in February and you want it ready by November, that means that you have 10 months to have the money you need for Christmas. And if your goal is $1,000 for Christmas, then the breakdown means that essentially you should save $100 each month. Now, whether you plan on saving $100 each month or you want to save it in a different way, that's fine. It doesn't matter as long as you can make sure that, for example, every 3 months, you check back and make sure that you have the $300. If you're waiting for a 3 paycheck month, you can make a checkpoint at that time so that you know exactly how much you should put from your extra paycheck towards your Christmas sinking fund. Or if you're planning on doing something else, then just having a simple checkpoint, whether it's halfway. I like to do quarter check-ins where if it's, for example, if it's 10 months that I have, then in this case, 10 months would be probably like 2.5, right? But maybe halfway through that second month, I can check, do I have $250 in that account? And if I don't, am I looking to maybe put extra money in the next couple of months? Or should I start doing something else so that I have the money that I need come November? Another thing to note is that, for example, when it comes to my vacation savings, I plan on purchasing the tickets as early as possible so that I get the best deal possible. That means that I need to make sure that I have those $1,500 that I'm planning on using for flights around June or July, ready to go so that when I find a deal for the flights, I can turn around and purchase that right away. And then depending on how much I spend on flights, for example, if I only spend $1,200, well, now I can put those $300 towards the $1,500 that I wanted in spending money, which means then that between June or July to December, when we actually travel, I only need to save up an additional $1,200 in order to reach my $1,500 spending goal. So making sure that you break down your overall goal is going to definitely make things a lot easier for you to both keep track of and to feel better about the fact that you are actually moving the needle towards that goal. Because the number one thing that will ruin sinking funds, in my opinion, is you feeling like you're not on track and therefore you should just completely ditch it and then worry about it when it comes. That's like the worst thing you can do for yourself. It is better for you to have some money set aside, even if you don't reach your goal necessarily, but at least you'll have something there so that at that moment, then you can make the decision if you're going to just lower the expectation on Christmas, for example, or if you're going to do something about it to reach that goal. I think no matter which of those two ends up happening, you're still way ahead than if you had nothing saved up for the occasion. All right, so there you have it. That is the breakdown for what sinking funds are, which sinking funds you should have, how much you should have in them, and how to make sure that you reach the goal when you need it. So if you're planning on starting your own sinking fund or funds, which sinking fund are you planning on starting and why? Tell me in the comments below. By the way, in next week's video, I am going over 5 ways that you can reach your sinking fund goals a lot faster. So make sure that you're subscribed and that you like this video so that I know to keep making videos like these. And lastly, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I have a sinking fund tracker that you can use on Excel or Google Sheets right alongside your normal budget if you have one. Super simple to use. It is actually the one that I am currently using to keep track of all of my sinking funds. So if that is something that you're interested, there's a link in the description box below. I do plan on going over this sinking fund tracker in one of my future videos about organizing and tracking your sinking funds. So keep an eye out for that one. Other than that, if you have any questions or concerns, feel free to leave me a comment down below. You can also find me on Instagram or Facebook. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you in my next video. Bye guys.